Go. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Create. Welcome. I'm going to click some buttons. Grab a sip of coffee. How are you today? And let's get the comments where I can see them, because I want to say hello. I have this fabulous backdrop behind me today, because we're going to do a thing. Remember how I told you sometimes you have amazing old furniture, but you don't have all the pieces that you'd really want to match? So what do? And if you want to freshen them with paint, it doesn't matter if they match completely, because you're going to make them match. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make these two little nightstands and this bed, and then we're going to add a chest of drawers or a dresser. We're going to make them match, and we're going to have a beachy zen bedroom suit. What does that mean? Well, if you'll remember, we did this super cute little nightstand. Let me click and show you a picture. This one. And last week we did this one on Tuesday, right here live together on Coffee and Create. And then on Thursday on Rethunk Junk, we did another one. And today we're going to do the bed to match, and we're just going to keep going until we have this amazing bedroom suit that when you lay your precious head down at night, you can relax and breathe and enjoy and sleep peacefully. You do have to get a good comfortable mattress set. One more sip of the Java today. And I'm going to turn another light on because I feel like I've got a dark spot over here. And I don't want to dark spot you. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing. And I want to, pardon me, I want to show you something that I did wrong. Wasn't so much wrong as it was I didn't like the way it was coming out. And you know how sometimes you do a project and you look at it and you're not really liking the way it looks? Well, here's the beautiful thing about our Rethunk Junk paint products. There's no wax involved, so all you've got to do is paint over it again. Just grab your paint, paint over the problematic area. Don't dig at it. Don't keep trying to do little pieces to fix it. If you don't like it, if it didn't come out the way you intended or the way you wanted, it's okay. Just do it again. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to split this screen. I've got this super cool little mouse, and without sticking my hands up in your face, I can click over and change the camera angles. So this was the second nightstand that I did on Thursday at 3. And there was a spot on the top that I didn't like. It pulled the paint. I couldn't leave it alone. You know, I think my grandmother used to tell me that I don't know how to leave well enough alone. She was probably right. She was probably right. But because I have grown and learned, I left it alone. And this morning I went back over it with my morning mist because I needed it to come out nice, and it wasn't coming out nice. So let's get started here. I have my prep, my miracle sponge, my water, and my damp rag. Let's get after this because we're going to start right here. I've got my prep out for the headboard, but we're going to fix this first. That way we can leave it to dry and we can move forward. So if you'll remember, our base is morning mist, and then we are going over that with our farmhouse navy. I don't know why that's hard for me to say, farmhouse navy. I've got my miracle sponge. I had to break a new one out yesterday, so since I didn't use it yesterday, we will use it today. Miracle sponge, these are the Bomb Diggity. Ask Donna Humphreys. She loves hers. I'm gonna spritz it. I don't want it saturated, I just want it damp, just a little damp. We're gonna take our Farmhouse Navy paintbrush, and so we don't lose our Miracle Sponge through the lid, through the open in the Farmhouse Navy, we're just gonna tamp it. Also, this is the drawer that goes in the very first nightstand that we did. Let's kick this straight over to just single view so that way you can see exactly what we're doing here. A little bit of Farmhouse Navy. I've already based it in Morning Mist. Mist it with a little bit of water. Mist, gently mist, because I don't want full Farmhouse Navy coverage on this. I want a movement. I want it to look driftwoody. I want it to look not like it was painted, even though it's painted colors. I want it to look like that. I'm also going to do this top edge because I want a nice cohesive look. If it created a line, I'm going to leave it alone for right now. We're going to tuck this under the table. I'm going to turn my fan on because we're going to need this to help dry. And I'm going to spritz over my Morning Mist. Good morning, Miss Judy. Good morning, Chris. How are y'all? Sorry I was late. My technology was acting nutty today. Like I'd never done this before. All right. Side to side, all the way across. Be careful on your edges. If you're not careful on your edges with your Miracle Sponge, you'll create a little spot right there. And when you get finished, you'll be like me and you'll try to fix it, and then you'll make more of a mess, just like me, and then you'll be trying to fix it even more, and you'll go, you know what? Our grandmother said you can't leave well enough alone. She's so right. So make sure you start across the lip edge and come all the way off the lip edge. Let me show you what happens if you start right here. You create a line of lines that you don't want. So make sure you come across that line, come across that edge, and come all the way across and off. You don't want any loose stringy looking stripes over there. We're not trying to stripe it up. We sort of are. Trying to create more of a driftwood grain, if you will. And just like that, it's fixed. I like it. I like it a whole lot better than I did when I messed it up. I also didn't like this side, and I touched it up, and I didn't touch it. I played with it. That's exactly what I did, is I played with this side. I don't like the way I played with it, so I've got to paint over it again and then use my Miracle Sponge to create that grain, that driftwood grain over it. So for now, let's get on this headboard. Look, it's so 60s. There's even a push pin in it, a thumbtack. For love's sake, what did we have tacked to the headboard? I don't know, but it's out of here. Thumbtack is gone. Let's hit it with some prep. This has a lot of neat architecture to it. I put the white background up so you could see what I was doing, because this has a lot of movement to it. And I didn't want you to miss seeing. I also didn't want to get crap and paint all over everything that was on my workstation over there. Have you gotten yourself a sprayer yet? I swear to you, if I could source them, I would sell them to you because these things are awesome, y'all. All right, I've got a nice soft cloth. This is the back of the headboard. So before we do any paint work, I'm gonna flip this around and we're gonna prep the front side too. And I really hope that it's not boring to you to see prep being done. And here's why. I do it repeatedly because I have realized that sometimes, even though I do a live tutorial, you might catch it and you might not. And if you're like me, going backwards to try to find the one you want to watch is almost impossible. Yuck. But being able to watch live and catch hold of some of the instruction, well, that's easier than going backwards sometimes, and I know that. So if you've been with me over and over again, I hope it's not boring to you to watch me prep a piece of furniture and then start painting it. One of the things I hope to accomplish by doing this particular suit is to show you how simple it is to take mismatched, thrifted pieces of furniture and make a suit. Because if you have a special technique that you are really interested in seeing done on your furniture, you can do it. It doesn't have to match everything else in the world. The object is to save some money, because we all need to do that right now. I had to take a small loan to fill up the Jeep. I'm just kidding, but I have been, listen, if y'all are passing me and I'm doing like 5 miles under the speed limit for the first time in my life, just keep rolling, because I'm going for the gas mileage right now. But we all need to save some money. Gas and groceries are high, we know that. But we still need to have fun. We still need to decorate. We still need to keep our world a beautiful place to live for ourselves, for our families. If our friends come over, we want it to look good. But if you can save money and buy awesome furniture, solid wood furniture. You can't hear me? I'm loud, Miss Judy. Chris, can you hear me? Because I've got my, no, microphone's on, Miss Judy. Turn your volume up or click the mute button off. But you've got to save some money somewhere down the line and still have a beautiful world to live in. Can you hear me now, Miss Judy? Maybe it's because I'm over here prepping this bed and I don't have a microphone on, because usually I'm kind of loud. Chris, you can hear me? Thank you, hon. Are the closed captions on? When I logged in this morning, that's why I was late. I logged in and it was like I had never logged in before, so I had to start all fresh. You know how the technology can be. Crazy. But I want to show you how you can save money, recycle furniture, use Rethunk Junk paint, and make a beautiful bedroom suit. I think this one's going to be neat because of all of the angles we have to go with here. And I think with this finish, it'll look pretty amazing. All right, I think we're good and prepped. Are you ready to go? Miss Judy, can you hear me now? We're gonna let that's a lot. This is why we never skip the prep. Let's go straight to our morning mist. And I should probably flip it around and do the back first. I'll get it later. We'll just go. Not a heavy coat, but a good coat. Remember, we're going to go over this with our complementary color. You can do this finish in just about any color you want to. Now, I've done this before, but I did it in different colors. So last week when I said I had done this and I used my pewter and my silver, well, it didn't look good, so I painted over that. But I went back and looked at the pictures, and the piece I had done that was similar in color had different colors with it, so it worked with the metallics. This one did not work with the silver or the pewter. It didn't look right, so I brushed over it. Remember, watch your edges and your ridges. I pulled this paintbrush out of the water, so I want to make sure that I'm careful where it's dripping. I want to pay attention to that. Because I don't want drips and runs. I don't want heavy paint drips on my edges and my ridges. So before it dries, I'm going to check it all. And see, that backdrop really helped, I think. There we go. Color that little flower in, that little rosette. Done. Get in those little grooves. Once you do the front and then you go do the back, once I do the front and then I go do the back, then I'll be able to touch the spots that I missed from the front. That's the cool thing and the frustrating thing about having an open work piece to paint on is that you have to paint from the front, paint from the back, and you have to be careful not to miss anything. But we can do this. We've got this. Don't forget, June, who wore it best is Eucalyptus. I have a chair that I painted in Eucalyptus a few months ago on a live, several months ago on live, and I have the matching chair. Any of you who know me know I do not know how to sew. I never learned, didn't want to. It's okay. Don't judge me for being that way. But I need to make cushions for it, so someone told me they were coming back to get the cushions. We made a deal. I was willing to pay the premium to have them made. And she never came back to get the cushions. So I'm going to make the cushions. So if I come in one Tuesday morning and my fingers are covered with Band-Aids, you'll know what happened. I'm going to learn how to sew those cushions. I think I can do it. I think I can do a simple pattern, and I think I can make it work. Any great advice on painting would be welcomed. Like, cover your fingers with chainmail or something. But I think I can do it. I've got plenty of sewing machines in here. But I think that way, if I do the cushions, I can paint the other chair in eucalyptus, and we'll have a legit project to submit. Also, the Who Wore It Best for May projects that are finished, those are up and ready for you to vote on. So make sure you go vote. Miss Judy has a beautiful red, white, and blue pineapple she did with Rethunk Junk. Make sure you go and vote for Miss Judy. Remember, if you win first place from Rethunk Junk Paint Company is $250 in paint product. And I'll add $50 more to that. If you win second or third place from Rethunk Junk, you will win $150. That's still a lot of paint product, y'all. What could you do? Good morning, Alice. Good morning. How are you? What could you do with $250 worth of paint product? I'm just saying, that's a lot of paint product. I'm going to scoot down here. I'm going to do this bottom side. Now, I'm real funny about how I finish furniture, because I don't just paint what you can see. I paint what you might look at. I want it to all look matchy-matchy. I really don't like that term, but it was funny right that second. I want it to match, and I want it to look manufacturer's quality. I want this to look like it came out of a factory finished, so that if your friends look up under here or you pick it up to move it, it's got a good look, front to back, top to bottom. That's just how I roll. I like my paint projects to be cohesive. It doesn't take that much more paint. It really doesn't take that much more effort. If you're flipping furniture, don't slap the paint on and throw it in your booth. Do a good job. With Rethunk Junk paint products, it's really not hard to do a good job. It doesn't take long, and the results can be stunning. And if you only want to do one color finishes, that's okay, do it. Do what makes you happy, do what makes you money, but make sure you do it with our Rethunk Junk paint products. Now, Miss Judy, I know you've been waiting for your reward points, and I know you came Saturday when I was gone. We've got a new point of sale system and a new website, and I'm trying to make the whole thing work together. Be patient with me. I promise I'll make it worth your wait. Let me ease down here, catch some ridges as I go by, and finish this bottom panel right here. Are you with me so far? It's not a tough project to do. It's a good project. And we're gonna have matching furniture when we're done. And I thought about it last night. This would even look amazing, and I can soften it up with a little bit of soft white glaze. I can finish it, seal it with our soft white wash, our vintage whitewash. And that way I can accentuate the undercolor, the morning mist, which is so light blue it's almost white. And at the same time seal it and soften that farmhouse navy against it. And it will have a beautiful and durable surface. Once it's dry, it's not cured. And a lot of times people forget that just because it's dry it's not ready to use it. It's really not. Once it's dry, you have to let it cure. And it's hard not to go ahead and use that piece of furniture as soon as it's dry and you can set it. I've made that mistake here in the store. I can show you a beautiful piece of furniture that I was impatient about finishing, and I've got to go back and do some touch up on it. All right, let me switch this, and I see a spot I missed. There's always a spot you miss. Remember that thing we talked about last week about the leg? I don't remember who it was that said that in their live, but I swear to you, I don't care how many times I do it, I always miss one little inside section of a leg on a table or a chair or a nightstand as I'm moving through. And I always have to go back and retouch it. I'm going to grab this little section right here. And that's done. That front side, that's done. And what we want to make sure we do when we do that is we want to make sure we let it lie. I've got the fan on. I'm going to set it where it can get to it. We're dry right there. And I'm not going to leave that up there too long, but I can lay down a rag so I don't leave the impressions of the feet in there. What kind of questions? Oh, you're so welcome, Janet. Have you used the inlay sample yet? Listen, did y'all get your inlay samples from me? If you didn't, I'll be glad to send you one. Just let me know. I still have a few left. One of the most important things you need to remember when you're painting is to give yourself time. This should be fun. This should be relaxing. This shouldn't be a rush. This shouldn't cause you anxiety or pressure. This should be something that you enjoy doing and that you don't worry about being perfect. There are too many other things in this world to worry about right now. This should be the part that makes your heart happy. It doesn't take long, but enjoy the time that it does take. Turn on your favorite music. Grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and have yourself some fun. And if you remember me telling you last week, week before, when I did the secret garden door and my inlay didn't work the first time, allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself not to do it right, and don't be hard on yourself for it. Just try it. Janet, just try that paint inlay. Grab a planter. Grab something simple. Grab a tin can. Paint it and go to it. But allow yourself the opportunity not to do it right. Because there are so many things in this world that we have to be perfect at doing. Let this one be okay if you don't do it right the first time, or the second time, or the 10th time. Let it be okay. Call a friend. Pick up the phone. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Message me. I will always be here to help you out. I've done it wrong so many times that I've learned how to do it right. And even though this is my job and I have to keep churning stuff so that I've got the lives ready and I've got the furniture ready and the store looks beautiful, I really enjoy my paint and my creative time, especially Coffee and Create. I love it when you join me every Tuesday morning. It really makes me happy and I thank you. But give yourself that time too. It'll be okay, and you'll learn how to do it perfectly. Now, let's flip this around, because can you believe while I was running my mouth, this dried? Got the fan on it. It's drying. I think we might still have, nope, you know what? That's done. It's damp down here on the last little spot I did. But I think it's going to be okay to turn around so we can get the back side of this basted. Let me flip it, because I'm sure we're going to have to check some edges and some ridges behind this. Let's see what kind of damage we have here. All right, flip it around. It's already prepped. It just needs to be painted. That's all. And while we're doing this, let me give you a good angle to look at. Blow it up. And let's go. This won't take long. And now I'm really excited, because once I finish this and it dries, we can add that farmhouse navy to it, and y'all, it's gonna look so good. And I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use a different brush to get in this groove, because I don't want to tear up my brand new Wooster. I've been keeping it super duper clean, and I don't want to mess it up, because I will. But I'll use another smaller brush to set into that groove right there. And see, now I'm really excited, because we get to put that farmhouse navy on the front just as soon as we finish this back. I don't see a lot of runs from the front to the back side, and I don't want to create any. So as I'm painting this open weave on the back, I'm going to touch in those center edges again, just so I don't leave any drips or runs, because that's not the kind of texture, visual texture we're trying to create here. So let's run down this architecture. Let's touch those insets. Plus it'll give us a little bit better base. I'm going to check my groove. I'm not going to paint in it, but I don't want to leave any drips and runs there either. And I see some gooped up paint. There we go. All right. Miss Janet, don't you worry about finding the perfect piece for it. Find a piece, grab something, and put it together. I know you've got a piece of decor that you have painted and have not done anything with, or a piece that you haven't painted yet. And if you've been thrifting the weekend, you've got a new piece to work with. I think I've told this story before, and I'll tell it probably for the rest of my life. I'll be that old lady that tells stories repeatedly. But there was a morality story, basically, whether it was true or not. I could believe it was true. But there was a lady who had beautiful, beautiful clothes. She spent lots of money on. She had furs, she had gowns, she had jewelry. And they were all still brand new in her closet when she passed away. And she always told everyone she was saving them for a special occasion, and she never wore them. And one of my favorite movies is Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It's a crazy little movie. One of my favorite lines from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is where he tells the young lady in the movie, life is an occasion, rise to it. Don't save your beautiful clothes, your beautiful china, your crystal, or your paint inlays for another day. Use them. Use them and enjoy them while you can. And if it doesn't work out perfectly, be like me, and it'll be okay. It's probably the only time I'll tell you to be like me. But let it be the learning and just use it. All right. We'll get this bottom panel right here and we'll be able to flip it back around because with the fan on it, it's drying as fast as I'm painting it. Love that about this paint. Rethunk Junk Morning Mist is our base. And we are covering over it with Farmhouse Navy. We're not doing a full cover coat. We are doing a driftwood-like finish. Perfect for the beach or wherever you need relaxation in your own home. There we go. Little touch up on the bottom sides there. And let me get that groove while we're going. Check my ridges and my edges. And let me get a smaller brush and we'll finish in that groove right fast. I'm going to grab one of my 3/4 brushes, long handled gray. I recognize this brush. This was gifted. This was shared with my best friend, Becky. Y'all know her. Paint brushes, my mercy. That girl and I have so many paint brushes, it's insane. All right. Fill that gap in right there. Don't try to stick your big brush in a smaller gap. Get another small brush. It doesn't have to be an expensive brush. I get some of these from my big box crazy store and they sell them in packs, and all you need is something that'll go inside that groove and fill it in so that you don't have a blank spot. I know this is the back. I always like the back to look as good as the front. Does not take that much more paint. And to me, it makes it look outstanding. All right, you know what? That part is done. I'm gonna cap my morning mist. That's what you see me doing, because you know I'll knock it over. And let's let that set for just a second. I think that's dry. My goodness. Got a couple little wet spots right there. Nothing major. Nothing that I can't work past. All right. We'll give it a little spin round. We'll spin round right there. And are we still recording? Let me refresh. We are. Okay. My screen locked up and I didn't want you to miss out on the next steps because this is the best part right here. All right, let's do it. I'm going to turn that fan off now because I don't really need it. And let me, I don't know how I got unstraight, but I guess it's just simply because we're up so high today. Up high in the air. You ready? Let's do this. Do you want me to bring the camera down a little bit closer to you? I will, although that's a pretty good image right there. We'll leave it be. It's locking up. What the world? I see it. I see it happening. All right. So, I'll do the best I can to get through this. It's 9:50. Dampen my Miracle Sponge. I'm going to tamp it off just a little bit. And take a paper towel and tamp it off because I don't want it oversaturated. And I'll keep an eye on the laptop, Alice, so you don't miss this part, because this is the fun part right here. This is the good time fun part. A little bit of the Farmhouse Navy, not a lot. I don't want a heavy finish on it, okay? A little bit of the Farmhouse Navy on the Miracle Sponge. And here we go. We'll start right here and go up. Hit that edge. Hit the edge right here. Now, we've got architecture, so we'll have to be careful not to gum it up with paint. And just a little swipe. Just a little swipe up and down. And done. I've got enough paint on my Miracle Sponge to make this movement. Oh, it's fun. It's like a roller coaster on these edges. It's like a really cool roller coaster ride. I'm gonna put just a little bit more Farmhouse on here. Not a lot. Spritz it, just a spritz. Not a heavy coat. Just a spritz, and that helps it move. Just like that. Ooh, I had paint on my ridges and edges. There we go. And if it covers too heavy, if you wipe over it like the second time and it's still too heavy, don't try to wipe it back while it's wet. Let it be. You can always go back over it again once it dries. Let it dry and then do it again. If you do it while it's wet, you'll make a mess. Ask me how I know. I make it look easy. You know what, Janet? It's not hard. And the cool thing about doing this is that you really can't do it wrong. You just let it dry and do it again. If it doesn't work, do it again. This nightstand that matches now, I didn't do it right. I've got a side over here I've got to repaint and do again. It's okay. But this little Miracle Sponge, boy, I tell you what, this thing makes it easy. Look at it go. Now I've got some heavy coverage over here. I'm just gonna wipe it back a little bit. There we go. Tip my sponge up and take some of that heavy excess off. Look at my rosettes. Finished. I love them. Look at that. And then inside edges. And of course, because there's so many different angles, you just need to find how to make it look smooth and make it have a cohesive look as you go. You want some consistency there. A little bit more. Now, Janet, we're using the Miracle Sponge, and I am brushing the Farmhouse Navy on the Miracle Sponge, and I'll show you why. You see the mouth on that 32 ounce? My Miracle Sponge will fit right down in there, but I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. So I'm trying to be really careful not to drop it down in the bucket and lose it. So I am just brushing it on, and a little bit at a time, because if I do a little bit at a time, I'll get exactly the coverage that I need to go end to end, walk it and keep it straight. There we go. And also remember this, Janet, this is important to me. When you see us doing our lives and it looks like, you know, boom, we just do it, remember how long we've been doing it. Remember how long we've been going live. And if you don't think I can make a mistake, go back 2 years and start watching some of those videos, because it takes a lot to get from not really knowing how to make something look super cool to making something look super cool super quick. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way to learn how to get to here. And that's why I tell you, let yourself, if you make a mistake, let yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't tell anybody that you did a terrible job, because you didn't. If you made a mistake, you've learned, and that is so important. I will, you know what, Janet, as soon as I finish this, I will go wash this. I've been using warm water and a little bit of Murphy's oil soap, and it'll take the paint right out. Rethunk Junk paint is a water-based paint with a resin additive, and that gives it amazing durability, but it also gives it washability. So when I finish, I can go wash this out and I'll be able to use it again. And away we go. Just like that. All the way to the edge and back again. I love the way the color over color looks. Because you can heavy it up if you want to, or you can lighten it up if you want to. And there's that architecture right there. I love it. Could you sleep now with a match set? And even if you didn't have a bed that matched your nightstands, now you do. Let me roll that back over out of my way before I knock something over and make a mess. But I just want to show you, it's not hard to do. You can do this. You can do this every single time. We'll lighten it up just a little bit. And really, I could take my Miracle Sponge and my Morning Mist, and I can roll back over the top of this and lighten it up. I don't even have to use a paintbrush to do it. Except to put it on the sponge, that's it. Because I don't want to, now I could pour it out on a plate, but to me that's one more component that I have to make a mistake up here, and I try really hard not to do that. Let's catch the inside of this leg right here. Because the sponge is pliable, I can get in between these grooves. And then all I've got to do is just tamp it back down a little bit. And I can do the back side of this as soon as we're done here, because I know you have things to do today. What you think, Alice? You like that? Oh, Lynette, good morning. How are you? You almost missed, but you didn't. Listen, I almost missed this morning too, because my technology didn't want to work with me. And it is 9:59 a.m. and the phone's ringing. Someone wants to get into Two Girls Treasure. So I'm going to go let them, and I'm going to finish this up. I'll post some pictures after a while. I'll retouch the side of this nightstand so it matches and doesn't have any mistakes because it has a little bit of fluff on it that I don't want. I'll finish the back side of the headboard, and it's a headboard only. It doesn't have a footboard, so that'll be simple to work with. And then all I've got to do is go find a chest of drawers. Now, if you've ever been here to Two Girls Treasure, you know I probably have one in the store. Chest of drawers or a dresser, we'll find something that'll match this suit, and then we'll have a complete bedroom ready to go. I thank you so much for being here today. I really do. I mean it when I say it makes my heart happy to see you here every Tuesday morning. I thank you, and I will look forward to seeing you really soon. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee and create something amazing today. Y'all take care.